can you solve this math challenge? Here's the question. If 3 raised to a equals 8 multiplied by 3 raised to 2 raised to 1 plus 1 multiplied by 3 raised to 2 raised to 2 plus 1 all the way up to 3 raised to 2 raised to 4 plus 1 plus 1, then what is the value of a? You can pause this video if you want to give this problem a try. And now, let's answer this question together. So, our goal is to solve for the value of a given that 3 raised to a equals 8 multiplied by 3 raised to 2 raised to 1 plus 1 multiplied by 3 raised to 2 raised to 2 plus 1 all the way up to 3 raised to 2 raised to 4 plus 1 plus 1. So, to answer this question, first thing we need to do is to simplify the exponent of 3. Now, 3 raised to 2 raised to 1 is simply equal to 3 raised to the power of 2 raised to 1, and 2 raised to 1 is just 2. 3 raised to 2 raised to 2 is simply 3 raised to 2 raised to 2, or simply 4. All the way up to 3 raised to 2 raised to 4, or simply 3 raised to the power of 16. And now, let's complete this term. So, because the only missing term is just 3 raised to 8 plus 1. Next, let's subtract 1 on both sides. And now, let's focus on the right-hand side of our equation, which is equivalent to 8 multiplied by 3 squared plus 1 times 3 raised to the 4 plus 1 times 3 raised to 8 plus 1 times 3 raised to 16 plus 1. Whew! Now, in order to evaluate this or to simplify this, let's multiply the numerator and the denominator by the same number. And that number is simply 3 squared minus 1 all over 3 squared minus 1. Now, the question is why we choose 3 squared minus 1? Because I found right here 3 squared plus 1. Maybe we will use the difference of 2 squares right here. Alright, so first let's simplify. So this is the same thing as 8 multiply the whole term times 1 over 3 squared minus 1. Why we do that? Because 3 squared minus 1 is 9 minus 1, or simply 8. So we can now cancel out 8 on the numerator and 8 on the denominator. So the remaining term must be 3 squared plus 1 times 3 raised to the 4 plus 1 times 3 raised to 8 plus 1 times 3 raised to 16 plus 1 times 3 squared minus 1. Now, rearrange some terms a little bit. Here we go. Let's focus on these two factors, 3 squared plus 1 and 3 squared minus 1. Take note that if we have a plus b multiplied by a minus b, it is equivalent to a squared minus b squared. So, this is the same thing as these factors, 3 squared plus 1 times 3 squared minus 1. So, this is equivalent to just 3 raised to the 4th power minus 1. And now, let's focus on these two factors. Let's simplify this using again this identity. And 3 raised to the 4th minus 1 times 3 raised to the 4th plus 1 is equivalent to 3 raised to 8 minus 1. Or 1 raised to 8. Now, let's focus on these two factors again. And it simplifies to 3 raised to 16 minus 1. Finally, these two factors, this simplifies to 3 raised to 32 minus 1. And take note, this is the right-hand side of our equation. So, we can say that 3 raised to a minus 1 is equivalent to 3 raised to 32 minus 1. So, basically, we can easily say that a equals 32. But, in reality, we get the value of a if we add 1 on both sides. And take note that we have two equal expressions and we have two equal bases. Therefore, their exponent must be the same. Thus, we can say that a must be equal to 32. Therefore, our answer to this question, the value of a in this equation, 3 raised to a equals 8 multiplied by 3 raised to 2 raised to 1 plus 1 times 3 raised to 2 raised to 2 plus 1 all the way up to 3 raised to 2 raised to 4 plus 1 plus 1 is simply 32. And as always, we are done.